Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Secretary Shanahan, I must say I was quite concerned this morning when I read the New York Times story that the Department of Defense is pushing back against the Environmental Protection Agency, which is trying to set tougher standards for PFAS chemicals. And I will just show you, the article was in the Times, and the headline here says, Pentagon pushes for weaker standards on chemicals contaminating drinking water. You and I first had a chance to talk about PFAS chemicals and how they're affecting the former Pease Air Force Base in 2017. And I told you about the hundreds of people, children, who had been drinking water, and those chemicals now have shown up, and no one knows what the long-term health impacts of drinking that water is. There are 401 known military facilities in the United States that the Pentagon has admitted have PFAS contamination. This committee worked 2 years ago to authorize the first ever health study on PFAS chemicals. And I'm very concerned about the fact that the Department of Defense would be trying to reduce the standard that the EPA is setting to try and ensure that drinking water is safe, not just for the civilians around our military installations, but for our members of the military. I must say the Air Force has been very responsive at Pease and Portsmouth under the previous Secretary, Deborah James, and the current Secretary, Heather Wilson. They have come up, they have put in remediation efforts, and I think this health study that has been started is going to be critical in answering questions for people. But I don't understand how you and the Department of Defense could be trying to reduce the standards that affect drinking water for literally millions of people around the country.
Senator, I'm not familiar with the article this morning, and you have my assurance that I'll take a look at what the actual situation is in terms of the standards. What I am is accountable and responsible for the safety and security of our men and women. You have my assurance that we will continue to do that. I will look into this matter. I take these matters personally very, very seriously, just as we had talked before. I am the advocate to take care of those matters. So let me take that for the record, and I will follow up with you directly to explain the situation, what we're doing to take responsibility.
Well, I appreciate that. Can you confirm or deny whether DOD has urged a lowering of the standard that the EPA is trying to put in place?
I can't speak to that specific. I will very quickly get an answer back to you.
I appreciate that. I think that's something that is important for the entire committee to know because, as you know, installations across the country are affected, and a lot of and we don't yet really know what the long-term health impacts are. So getting those answers is very important. Can I ask, and I'm not sure who quite to direct this question to, but General Dunford, you said that you were going to be weighing in on any projects that were put on a list, any MILCON projects put on a list to consider delaying because of the President's effort to put more money into a border wall. Can you tell me what objective criteria that you're looking at in trying to come up with those projects?
Senator, the Secretary will get inputs on the impact of the projects from the service secretaries and the service chiefs. What I will do is talk about the appropriateness of those projects and how they relate to the performance of our mission along the border. So the Secretary will get a wide variety of inputs, and each of the service secretaries, I know, will share their assessment of the impact of those projects to the Secretary.
But a number of those projects would not affect the border, would they?
No,
I mean, we have MILCON projects at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard that are very important, I think, to our national security that don't affect the border directly.
Yeah, sorry, Senator, if I conflated two issues. There's the list of projects, and then the service that may be used to free money up for projects along the border. The service secretaries and the service chiefs will provide input to the secretary on the impact of those projects to the services. And as you point out, bases and installations, maybe where those projects would have been executed. What I will do when the decision is made to support the border with infrastructure is assess the relationship of that infrastructure to the DoD mission. There's two separate processes that affect
Thank you.
infrastructure and projects.
Thank you.